What is going on, Dads? And welcome to episode 23 of the Dads After Dark Show, recorded on Monday, November 9th, 2020. We're your hosts, Drew and John, and thank you for joining us tonight for some Nintendo and hardcore satisfaction of thrills, spills, and kills. Oh, John, it has been an absolute busy 2 weeks for both of us. We've had trick-or-treating, snow, sun, rain, Baby Yoda eating babies, PC hard drive failures, broken arms, maybe, anal, Christmas lights, pandemic uprising, football, partner Tourette's, and John, even a presidential election.
Oh, God.
But, speaking of anal, what have you been up to? What's going on? How you been? I mean, I feel like we've been a little distant.
Yeah. It's been a while since anal, Drew. You're right. I feel like it's been forever since we did an episode because so much has happened since the last episode, even as we were going through it and being like, oh, my God, that happened. But that election week felt like 18 years. And I'm very glad that's over. And Halloween. It's amazing to think Halloween happened since the last episode. But speaking of, how was because I know you love the holiday season. How did your Halloween go with your kiddos?
It was an absolute blast. We've been doing the same tradition for the last 7 years or so. Unfortunately, we couldn't do it this year.
Was it the anal?
That's post Halloween, but no. We didn't have. We ended up having an absolute blast. It was one of the most favorite and memorable Halloweens I've ever had with just time with my family and the kids and scavenger hunts and a little trick or treating and trunk or treats and the whole 9 yards. So it was really good. It was really good.
Cool. I felt bad for this Halloween because we decided not to go trick or treating this year. And it wasn't that I was afraid of trick-or-treating, I guess. It was more just worry for neighbors. You know, we have some older neighbors around here and stuff like that. And I just thought, you know what, just for this year, we'll just skip it with the pandemic and everything. It looks like, fingers crossed, we might have some vaccines coming and maybe next year it'll be a lot better holiday. But we skipped it. But we did the same thing. I did some scavenger hunts with the kids. And we got like bags of candy. So obviously they didn't go trick or treating, but they had plenty of candy. Oh, yeah. We had a cake and we just, we watched movies. We did a couple movies. We watched, of course, Nightmare Before Christmas. So
favorites.
I wanted the kids to see Beetlejuice. They've never seen Beetlejuice.
Ooh, is that too scary for kids?
I don't think it would have been too scary for them.
Well, what's your youngest? Like 7 or 8?
9.
9.
And,
okay, yeah. So.
In the end, we watched a different movie. We had them pick that Transylvania movie. What is the name of it?
Hotel Transylvania. Yeah, I like those. Those are fun.
Because Beetlejuice was going to cost me $2.99 to rent.
Wait, time out. I forgot. We need to talk about something because we had this chat the other night, me and you, on text message and whatever. You still rent Netflix DVDs. Like, you go onto the internet, you browse their library, and you say ship to my house.
Yes,
you still do that. I didn't know that was a thing.
Well, I do the internet Netflix, the streaming, but I also do the DVD. I don't always do the DVD. I just do it. So a couple of years ago, I decided for like a New Year's resolution that I was going to watch 20 movies that were just movies I needed to see.
Yeah,
and it was just like, that everybody has it, like a movie that's like a classic and somebody goes, oh man, I love that movie. And you're like, oh, I've never seen it. And I remember one of the first ones was Princess Bride. It was like a movie I hadn't seen. And it really felt good that year to like watch a bunch of movies I hadn't seen and fill in this like pop culture gap. And so I've done that for the last couple of years. And the Netflix DVD is super useful for that because they have all the old movies. Okay. Whereas the streaming, I swear the streaming used to have more movies. Now I'm looking for like a new movie to watch, and there's just nothing.
You gotta make room for the new movies.
Well, but I swear Netflix does more original content, and I think they're squeezing out everything else to the point where there won't be any more freaking movies on the thing. But yeah, I still do it. I don't always do it. I put it away, but it's still useful. It's a little pricey. You have to make sure you watch movies. I think renting makes more sense, but I don't think you can even rent a lot of old movies on stream either. So I don't know. At some point, I think it'll end because I think streaming is probably going to be more efficient. But yeah, no, it's still useful.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we didn't see Beetlejuice. I do want them to see Beetlejuice. I showed them the trailer, and they thought some of the special effects were a little old-fashioned. Spoiled brats.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they'll play with it, but good. Like you said, busy, a lot of stuff going on. But before we really get into too much of the new stuff, we need to talk about a little retro gaming for a second here, right? Because good friend Chris NHL 94, right? I'm
Chris HL.
Chris HL. Same difference. Wanted to give some money over to the kids over for whatchamacallit, the Extra Life, that's the word. Yeah. And we had to talk about the game, so I want to talk about the game, reminisce. Because did you know, John, you are in the presence of NHL 94 for, I'm going to cheat here, for Sega Genesis World Champion. I won, well, not really world, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah. I entered a tournament and I won.
Wow.
I was like 10 years old. Funny story really quick is me and my brother used to love NHL 94. We grew up both being huge hockey kids. I played hockey since age 3. I still play. And he always kicks my ass. I never could beat him. So what happens? We both enter this tournament at a local game store, and I think they got like 16 kids. So they put everybody's name in a hat, and they pulled out who you're going to play. And, it was like a bracket style. You win, you move on. So who do I pull out of the hat first? My brother. So I had to play him first. Never beat him in my life. And what happened?
So one of you is going to be eliminated right away.
And I beat him. He was so pissed. And I went on to win the whole thing. I think you ended up winning like a $25 gift card to the place or something. It was, they had pizza and soda and stuff. It was a fun time.
How did they do it? Like, you didn't play a whole game, like just a period or something?
Periods. I think 5 periods. So it was a 15-minute game.
Did they have multiple stations?
They did. I think they had like 3 or 4 stations set up, and you watched them. You ate pizza if you weren't playing. It was a fun time. Debbie, do you have any fond memories of the game?
I do, and this is going to come up a little bit later, but it's funny. I predate NHL 94. I actually played NHL 93.
That was a good one. 3, 4, and 95 were all similar in a way.
They were all similar. And I just finished comparing them, and I think they did get a little bit better. I looked at NHL 93 and I was like, oof. But I still remember the box cover of it. I was like, which one did I play? And then when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, it was that one.
93 had like the yellow strip, I think, on the side, maybe.
I don't remember that anyway, like that. But yeah, I played a ton of that. I was a Red Wings player because Detroit was just really good back then. And I was playing my brother. My brother is much older than me. He is like 13 to 14 years old, depending on the time of the year, older than me. But we played video games a lot when I was a kid. So God bless him. I was like 14, 15 years old, and he's like in his late 20s.
Oh yeah.
Still playing me. So, but I was pretty good with games, and he's a little older, so we kind of matched up pretty well. We played nothing but sports games, but we loved NHL 93. That was a great one, and I know like the blue ice versus like the game had blue ice at one point and then had white ice.
I think 95 went to the bluish, didn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't 94. It was a 95. I think it might have been 95.
I thought it was 95, and 95 had the more loose controls, I feel like, which I didn't like. 94 had the perfection of the tight, loose controllers.
Okay.
In my eyes. That's the way I remember it.
Yeah.
I do remember the ultimate cheat of wraparound goals, where you didn't even have to do the full wraparound. If you just started on one side of the ice, like in the corner, and kind of just came straight across and did your slap shot, I mean, it was almost a goal 90% of the time.
I can't remember. Is the goalie always computer controlled, or could you actually control the goalie?
I want to say it was always computer. Okay. For some reason, I think you could go to the settings and change it manually, but I think it was one or the other.
Okay. Yeah.
But you never do manual controls. Never.
NHL was not the hockey game I played the most. I played a lot of TV sports hockey on TurboGrafx. And then in the arcade, I loved Hit the Ice. Do you remember that one?
I do remember Hit the Ice. Yep.
It was like a 2-on-2.
That was the arcade one, which came to, was it on N64?
I don't think it was. It was on TurboGrafx, but I didn't have it.
Oh.
I don't think I ever had a home version of it, but it was like super fun. That would be a cool one for like 1UP to do, wouldn't it? Like do like NBA Jam and Hit the Ice or something like that. Maybe they did do it. I'm not totally up on it, but yeah, like hockey games are really good back in the day. There were so many good hockey games, and NHL series was great.
Favorite. Yeah, NHL series.
Wasn't the Mario Lemieux one on N64?
I think I'm gonna be honest, John. I played that one on Cider as well.
Oh no, I'm thinking of the Wayne Gretzky one.
Wayne Gretzky 3D hockey.
Yes.
That was 64.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
There were so many good versions of hockey. It's and now they have like Super Blood Hockey, which one day I'm gonna get. But that's kind of like the.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
It looks like ice hockey from the NES, and then you had ice hockey and Blades of Steel. I mean, there's just so many good hockey games over the years. And yet I probably haven't played one in forever until I eventually play some Super Blood Hockey.
League hockey, though, was probably the best.
I didn't play that, but I've heard that series is really good. Yeah.
Well, good stuff. Well, Chris, HL, we want to say thank you for donating some money to Extra Life, and we hope you enjoyed your little 5 minutes of NHL 94 there. And I'll be happy to play. If we could ever find a way to play each other, I'm all in. If Rewind ever comes to Nintendo.
Can you play Super Blood Hockey online? Because that would be a lot of fun.
Oh, that would be fun. Let's look into that for a Mayhem.
I mean, you can definitely play ice hockey on Nintendo Switch online. We never
did an ice hockey head-to-head, though.
I don't think we did because the networking is always really bad, but maybe we can try it again sometime. That's a game that every little stutter would be so freaking annoying, though. So I don't know. That's why we did the goal scoring.
That was crazy. We had like 33 goals. All right. Anywho,
that was a good time.
What else, John, do we have going on? And like kind of, I don't want to say news, but news topics.
I got a few news topics we can run through real quick. First of all, oh my gosh, right when we finished recording, I've done 3 30-second reviews in 1 week.
Wow.
And one of them was a review for Oddworld New and Tasty. That was a fun opportunity to do that one up front. We got that code a couple weeks before it came out. Really cool game. It's a remake of the first Oddworld. I've never played it, and I actually had a pretty good time with it. So that might be a game I come back to and finish. But that was a good one. I have a new 30-second review coming out. Should be this Friday. It is going to be on an Xbox One X game.
Come on.
So keep it. You gotta go around. This one's a really cool game. It is available on the Switch. So it'll be perfectly, you can perfectly do it. And this game has so far been really fun. So I think you might like this one. And then Cyberpunk was delayed again. Drew, I don't know if you heard of this because you're just not into these other.
I mean, I've heard of
consoles.
Cyberpunk, but I mean,
Cyberpunk got its. I believe this is the 3rd delay, possibly the 4th, but I think it's the 3rd delay. And it happened after they had gone gold. So it is delayed again to December 10th, which is going to be in about a month. Might finally come about. And then we did have a partner direct. Also feels like forever ago. October 28th was 12 years ago. And we can talk about this one, but some of the notable games that came out: No More Heroes 1 and 2 from the Wii. Bravely Default 2 got a release date. We'll talk about that one in a second. Phoenix Rising, which is your game, also
I've been talking
got
about this
a date
forever.
Yes. And Age of Calamity, that's when they announced the demo. It feels like so long ago because we have to talk about that one. So we will talk about that one in a bit. But before we do, we have a little promotion going on.
Yeah, we do.
Sometimes Drew and we have some trouble coming up with some good topics. And so we're going to extend this out there. If you write us, you can write us on Twitter. You can message us in Discord, however you like. Send us some topics that you'd like us to discuss. And if we pick your topic, we could do 2 in one show. We could do none in a show. But if we do pick your topic, you will get a $5 eShop card. Don't ask for 20, okay?
Yeah.
This is not a big operation. We're not even asking for Yeah, we don't have a Patreon.
It's just
but
money out of our hard-working pockets.
but we will send you a $5 eShop credit if we choose your topic. So let us know. Let us know some topics. If you want to ask us a question for the show, you can do that as well, just a little separately. But give us some topic ideas. What kind of ideas would you like us to discuss? And you will get $5. And there is no limit. You can win as many times. You can win every single week.
Video game related, John. Maybe they want to know about this anal conversation we had earlier.
That is true. Well, it's going to be like something we'll talk about for 20 minutes. So I don't know if I can do 20 minutes of anal. That came out wrong.
Well, did it? I
could do 20 minutes.
Sure. Okay.
Your mom can.
Okay. So I love this idea. Basically, John and I want to be lazy, and we want to reward you if you come up with a good idea. I think it's a win-win situation for everybody.
Yeah.
So,
so speaking of the partner direct, Drewski, what were your highlights out of that one?
Yeah, like you said, John, it's been so freaking long. But obviously, Calamity Demo and Phoenix Rising, those are the two games I've been waiting on. We'll talk about a little bit what you've been playing, but I kind of wrapped up my games I've been playing, and I try to put everything on hold for those two games. That's my plan is to dig into both of those for November and December timeframe. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I've been talking about Phoenix Rising forever. Probably when did they say? Over a year, I want to say almost. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's Gods and Monsters for a long time.
Yeah. But those were really the only two that I really remember jumping out at me, to be honest. What about you?
I thought first of all, I thought it was a great partner direct.
It was good. I will say it was good.
The first two of those were lousy. I remember the first one had the Shin Megami Tensei, which I didn't really care about, but at least it was that. The second one was even worse. But yeah, the last two have been amazing, and I loved No More Heroes on the Wii. I don't think I want to play it again, especially with those Wii graphics. But I was still really excited to see No More Heroes 1 and 2, especially because I've never played 2. And I really don't want to play 2 now until I replay 1, but I don't really want to play 1. But I'm just glad they're on the Switch. The big highlight for me, no doubt, is getting the release date for Bravely Default 2. And it was one of those things where I was happy that it wasn't. I was really worried it was going to be like December, because it's just there's so many games to play. So that one's in February 26th. That's going to be perfect.
What's so great about this game?
Bravely Default? You haven't played Bravely Default.
I mean, it looks like a Final Fantasy-ish type game.
It is. Yeah, I liked it. It's one of my favorite RPGs ever. It's simple. It's not overly complicated.
I like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of niceties in the game. Like, there's ways to like grind more quickly. You can literally put the game in fast forward. The job system fun to use. There's like a whole bunch of jobs, and you can change your characters at any time between jobs. You can give them secondary skills from other jobs. And if you play the game on the 3DS, it has this beautiful like watercolor art style. Just everything together. It's just this perfect little RPG. It's I mean, like I used to play it while I vacuumed my house. It was one of those RPGs where you can just go A. Yeah, and I go around and go, okay, I want to grind a little bit, and so I'm gonna just vacuum while I do this. It's one of the only RPGs.
I don't even know what to say to that,
dude. You got
not a normal thing.
It's normal. You gotta get shit done, So you gotta place the Bravely Default while you vacuum.
It's incredible.
Yeah, nowadays I'll throw my AirPods in and I'll just vacuum and like listen to a podcast and I'll be perfectly fine. But yeah, back in the day,
I mean, how long are you vacuuming for?
That's a big house, man. You gotta vacuum. If you can get 20 minutes of grinding in while you vacuum, you gain some levels.
I don't think my battery in my vacuum lasts 20 minutes. Listen, this is something that maybe you could sell me on. I know you sold me on Dragon Quest when that came out, and I loved it. Played the whole game, right?
Yeah.
So depending on what my gaming schedule looks like and what else is out at that time, there's a small chance you could sell me on this game.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say Bravely Default is one of the only RPGs I've played twice. Um,
Well, and
and
now a third time?
it has a controversial ending to it.
Well, that's the first one you say.
The first one has a controversial ending. Some people hate it. Some people quit on it. I actually quit on it the first time, and then a year later I came back and played through the whole game again, and then went through the ending and was like, okay, that was magnificent. No, but it's great. I would honestly say, since it comes out in February, if you do you have a 3DS? You don't. You don't have.
Yeah, I have like two
Okay.
of them, but I'm not playing on 3DS. You gotta get freaking mine.
You got to play the original before you play two.
No, I do not.
It's a weird thing. I don't know. I try not to learn a lot about games before, like when I know I'm going to play them. But there was Bravely Default, and then there was Bravely Second. So when this game was announced with Bravely Default 2, it was kind of confusing. So I think I might replay Bravely Default again in January, February, and then play Bravely Default 2. I'm kind of hoping maybe we'll have some clarity that I don't have to play Bravely Second. But yeah, I'm excited for that. And I'm more excited about Phoenix Rising now.
Yeah. You gonna pick it up?
I'll definitely pick it up. Okay. I don't know when I'll play it, but it's one of those games I'll just probably buy lunch day and just be happy about it. It looks good, and I'll have some more to say about that later, I think. But yeah, it's coming out in less than a month now. And yeah, I don't know if it's the Breath of the Wild game we always hope some of these games are. It's Ubisoft, though, right?
Yeah, they make good games.
And they're pretty good. So I actually do like Ubisoft as a third party. So
Me too.
Yeah, very, very interesting. And then the other game that I liked was from Clay. It's called Griftlands. Okay. It was the card-based game, if you can remember it.
A little bit.
So Clay is the team that made Don't Starve, and then they made Mark of the Ninja, and I think they've done another game or two. And my big thing with Clay is that they're just so close on their games. Like, they don't make the best games, but they make pretty good games that just fall short. And but Griftlands looks like Slay the Spire, whether purposefully or not. And I love Slay the Spire. So I'm probably going to give Griftlands a try. And so I'm excited for that one. That one comes out next year. But that was another one that I saw that I really liked. So good. Yeah, no, it was a really good, really great partner direct. Very excited for it. So anyway, speaking of games, what do you say we talk about what we've been playing?
Do it.
All right, what have we been playing? Drew, we're going to do a slightly different format because sometimes we play the same game because we have similar tastes.
We do.
And instead of interrupting each other, let's just start off with games that we both played these last 2 weeks. And the first one has to be the Age of Calamity demo. What did you think about it?
I mean, it's so, dare I say, satisfying, John. Yeah, it was just it's everything that you remember back to playing Hyrule Warriors back on the Wii U days for me. And I mean, the cutscenes and the story is just so familiar. And so, again, it's just what you want, exactly what you wanted, It's perfect. It's just so natural to pick up. What I love about this game, which, is similar to, Smash Brothers or games like that, where all the mapping of the buttons are the same based on the characters you select, but they each play a little bit slightly different. Mm-hmm. And I loved it. I loved I loved just the little missions within the game, which are this or do that, sure, but I feel like they have a little bit more story, at least from what I saw in the demo. I love the overworld of the map and all of the different places to see. You're looking at you're such a familiar Breath of the Wild world. Awesome. Yeah. And then you can go. I liked the little feature, which you didn't really get to dive too deep into it, of like the merchants and upgrades and things like that. But yeah, I thought it was fabulous. I thought they did a great job of actually incorporating Breath of the Wild. They didn't just use the Breath of the Wild skin and say, here's a Hyrule Warriors based with Breath of the Wild. They definitely tried to look at the game itself and incorporate a lot of those fun features, I thought.
Yeah, no, it was nice looking. I have been very interested in it, and usually I don't play demos for games I really want to play, but I tried it because what was it, like a couple months ago? I was going to play through Hyrule Warriors again on the Switch. I had played it on Wii U.
Yeah, we talked about it. Yep.
And I played through the first level, and when I hit the end of it, I was just like, I just didn't feel like going through what was going to be so many hours. And I felt like I feel like the performance on the Switch wasn't so great, and I was surprised. I thought it would look a lot better on the Switch. So when I played Age of Calamity, I was already a little like, I hope this is better, because I had seen some performance issues on the trailer. And I gotta say, playing through the demo made me less excited for it. I love the story sequences. I love the baby guardian. I liked meeting the scientists that we saw.
Oh yeah, yep, that was fun.
Oh yeah. And I did love those sequences. Excuse me. And I like just where the demo ends, where it's like, okay, you have to go find the what do they call them? The 4 machines. And then you got to go find the 4 champions. And I just thought that's a great premise. Like, that's just a great premise. Like, you know, you're going to find these characters, and then they're going to join your team, and blah 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 blah. So I really did like that. But
speaking of that, where do you think you're going to go first?
Where am I going to go? You mean like, which direction?
Hero? Yeah. Which champion?
I don't know if I'm going to play it, Drew.
Stop it.
I don't know if I'm not excited to play it right now. And I think I played Hyrule Warriors, then I played Fire Emblem Warriors, and I'm kind of burnt out on the whole smash 1,000 bokoblins in the face, and I don't know. I'm not super excited about it. It's a game I feel like I'll have to play, but I'm really not excited to play it right now.
Disappoint me.
Sorry, but I thought the demo ended well. You know, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna have to level up 1,000 guys and all that. So
let's rewind for a second, because I say it's the perfect game. I think it's the perfect game for certain situations. For me, it's the perfect game to sit on the couch sometimes and play handheld, where my wife is watching like Dancing with the Stars or This Is Us or some show that I'm not interested in.
Oh, my wife likes This Is Us as well.
Yeah. So I kind of agree with you. It's not a game that I just go sit on the TV and play for 3 straight hours, because it isn't very, very repetitive. But if I'm playing like handheld because I don't really want to watch TV and I'm still talking to my wife or whatnot, then yes, that's the game. And I think if I remember back, I actually played a lot of on the Wii U handheld as well, you know, for that reason.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, but I'm excited for the story, and it's a fun. I gotta see what else it does. You know, you play through the story. I remember the original Hyrule Warriors had that. They had the map of the original Legend of Zelda, and you had each square. Like, that was trying to unlock those were fun. I don't know how that's gonna be. Is it just the story and are we done, or I don't know.
There's probably going to be stuff like that too, but I don't think anything as fun as like unlocking the original Legend of Zelda map. You know what I mean? That was cool.
That was fun.
And that's what I was going to try to do a couple months ago, and I just immediately felt bored. So, I hope it's good. I'll try to give it a chance. I don't know if I'm going to be playing it on, November 20th. So,
well, I will be.
We'll see.
Hardcore.
Well, you got to do the review for us. I did do a 30-second review of the demo, however. So if anybody wants to watch a demo that won't give away too much because it's only 30 seconds, give that a look.
That was a good review. I enjoyed that.
And then we both did play Super Mario Brothers 35 from Monthly Mayhem. I think we talked about this on the last show, but I will add, it, as fun as it is, there's only so many times you can play World 1-1 before you start to get a little mentally drained.
I'll tell you how many times. I've played it over 500 times.
Which seems low, actually.
Really?
I mean, I just you play it like 5 times. Or maybe I always go through the pipes in World 1, 2, and I generally will either pick a later level with hopes that I'll find something, unlock a new level, or I just do 1, 1 again because I know where
I like doing. Because 1, 2, you can collect like 100 coins.
I guess, where would you collect the 100 coins?
Well, you can get, there's like 3 blots that you can get like 10 to 14 coins from. There's the hidden one-up.
Wait, you do those? I never do those.
Oh, for that? Oh, yeah, I do them every time.
I feel like I'm spending too much time just sitting there hitting the block over and over again.
There's 3 of them. There's the one-up, that's like 50 right there. You go down the pipe, there's like 35 coins in that pipe.
Right, yeah.
So now I'm at like 85. You collect a few more around there.
Yeah, I like to get the one-up. I like to do the 1-up, but yeah, I feel like it takes me a while to get through level 1, 2.
Oh, no, I got it down. Yeah. I get like 100 coins and beat it in like 30 seconds.
Okay. Yeah. I like going through 1, 1. I know where the invisible the mushroom is. I know where the star is. Things start to get a little busy over there, and I just grab the star and just finish out the level. So, yeah. So you know, I had a lot of fun with it. I remember when it came out, and it was October 1st, right? Everyone was still complaining that they were gonna like take it away in March of next year, and now it just feels like whatever. I don't need to be playing it anymore anyway. So maybe that's why they were gonna take it away.
I have no idea. Does Tetris 99? I never really. I played it like twice just to try it. If I go to now, will I connect to 98 people instantly?
Yeah, it's still very active.
So there's no issues connecting or anything.
Oh no, yeah, it's about as quick as Mario is. Although I know when you play Mario, it seems like all of them fill up very quickly on the sides. Tetris usually takes a few refreshes.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's triple the people almost.
Exactly. But you generally play a game real quick. I haven't played Tetris 99 since Mario came out, so I'm sure a lot of that audience is playing Mario right now. But I'm sure. And they're both really great.
For me, it's Luigi 35 because I have a Luigi now.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, I mean, I'm cashed out. I'll play this maybe once or twice more before we start. Age of Calamity comes out, and that's it. I mean, I'm checked out. I'm on what I call a little vacation from Damon. I played a shit ton for myself in a short period of over the last 2 months or so, and just trying to mellow it out now, taking a little bit easy, playing a little bit here and there, and really waiting to dive back in.
A little palate cleanse before.
Well, speaking of that, I'll tell you what I have been playing a little bit. Obviously, I played Pumpkin Jack. I went back because last time we chatted, John, there was a huge bug, which I couldn't beat the game. So I did go back. They updated it. I did beat the game. I enjoyed it. I went back and I played a couple levels and 100% completed them. And I did not 100% complete the whole game, but I was very close.
Wait, I have to know. Did it get too difficult or just too annoying?
Neither. Really neither. I don't know. I think Mayhem obsession kind of took over, and anytime I had free time, I kind of jumped on and tried to level up 1 or 2, and I was really in the heat of trying to get Luigi. That took a lot of energy out of me. But speaking of spooky, I did go back and I loaded up Minecraft Dungeons, which I had a lot of problems doing. For whatever reason, there was updates and I couldn't connect to the server. But what they did was they had a spooky update, John, where you could go back and a lot of the levels were they added a bunch of pumpkin armor and things along that line. But it was fun. It was good.
All right, Drew, what else have you been playing?
Well, I had to go and try to boot up Minecraft Dungeons because, as you know, I love Halloween, like you said earlier, and they did a spooky update. And I had a lot of issues with this, John. I couldn't connect to first of all, the update took forever. And then I got stuck on a bunch of loading screens, which I looked up, and there was other people having the same issues with the servers. And then I didn't know how the hell to load the Halloween stuff. You had to do online game. You couldn't play just local. It was weird.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it was really weird. And then, but it was cool. Essentially, you only really played the existing levels, but certain levels had missions or bonuses where you got like pumpkin armor, pumpkin weapons. They had like kind of spooky themed missions rather than just the normal ones. So I played a couple levels of that, nothing crazy, and it was fun. I enjoyed it, but that's really what I was playing over the last 2 weeks, all those types of things. But you've been busy as always, and a couple reviews. And what have you been playing?
That's interesting about Minecraft Dungeons. I haven't been playing it because I got really bored with it. I played with my son, obviously, and the spooky update came out. I was like, oh, I hope he doesn't find out about it. But turns out you have to play online. I don't have Xbox Live because I'm a cheap bastard, so I wouldn't have been able to play. So there you go. I've been playing a little set of games. I started off. I did a 30-second review of it, the Cadence of Hyrule, Crypt of the Necrodancer, featuring The Legend of Zelda. I love the title of that game. I had played that in the past. I played through it with Link. I played through it with Zelda. Played through it with Cadence. I love that game. And I guess a few months ago, they did some DLC, and they also announced a physical copy. So I waited for the physical copy, even though I was really tempted. I was going to get the physical copy, so I didn't want to buy the DLC. And I'm glad I waited, because even though right before it came out, I was worried that you had to buy the DLC, or the DLC came as a code anyway. The physical copy includes the DLC. So if I were to give the game to you, you would have the DLC too. And that's why I had waited for the physical copy. But like the day before, it sounded like it was a code. Nintendo had just sort of, written it down wrong, I guess, or something. So, but anyway, I had a lot of fun with it. There are a bunch of new characters, a bunch of new game modes. But the way that game started out versus what it is now, there's so many different ways to play that game. There's so many unique characters. You can be the shopkeeper now. Some of the modes are really hard. The latest DLC added Skull Kid as a character.
Yeah, so I'll be honest, Sean, that alone almost made me pick up the game. I love the lore of Skull Kid. I think it's fascinating. Fun fact, did you know when I was doing my I'll have to share it with you sometime. When I was really into the film business, I wrote a script for a Zelda movie, and Skull Kid played a huge part in it.
A little fanfic.
A little fanfic. But yeah, anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, but the Skull Kid DLC, just as warning, is really hard. I do want to play through that. I started to play through it just for my review, and I was going to play through the whole Skull Kid story, but right in the beginning, you have to do some fights, and oh my god, it was really hard. So I'm going to have to come back to that one. I really wish they have 3 save slots for the game.
Okay.
And when you first play, I told you I played as Link, then I played as Zelda, and I saved them all in separate slots.
Yeah.
And then after a while, they added a new one, which was you got to play as the main enemy in the game, and it was a different story, and
That's cool.
It was the story of how you came to be as the main enemy.
Oh, cool.
And so I played that one too, and I had to overwrite one of my save files.
Oh, that's odd.
But now there's a bunch of all these characters you can play, and they still only give you 3 save slots. So it's gosh, I need 12 slave slots. I want to have a slave slot for each game mode.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that kind of sucks. But they added achievements in the game. I can't remember if they were there the last time I had played, but they weren't there originally. So little achievements that you can do during the game. And they're kind of interesting because they're all masked. And if you accomplish something, it'll pop up. And then all of the little achievements that are next to it, above, to the sides, below, they show up, and you can see what it is you have to do. So it's the more achievements you do, the more you can see what you have to do. And if you like to do these things, you're definitely not going to go online and look at, let me just see what they all are. So I really like the discovery of them. I'm definitely going to come back to this game, but I just felt like playing something else. It's so overwhelming. But really, it's a great package. You can, all the DLCs included on it. And so, so much fun. I really love this game, and it's so much better than the original Necrodancer game.
Sure.
And there's so much variety, and the music is great. And there's even more really great music. I really love this game. So I'll be coming back to this again and again and again. Then I went on and finally played the final chapter of Tell Me Why. This is the game. Yeah, it's an Xbox exclusive. It's from the people that made Life is Strange. Don't nod. And in previous episodes, I had done chapter 1, and then I had done chapter 2, and I was really looking forward to finishing it out. And I decided to just do it. The chapters are like 3 hours each. And the story ended really great. I mean, the whole game is story, pretty much. It's an interactive story. There's no action sequences or anything like that. You don't shoot anybody. Really great ending. And, definitely teared up at the end. It was a really good, sweet ending. And I had to go onto Twitter and apologize to Don't Nod, because when they had showed this game in the Xbox showcase, when they were kind of announcing Series X, I remember looking at it going, that game looks like shit. Because I had played games like Last of Us, and I was like, God, this game doesn't look as good, and it's trying to tell this story. And yeah, I played through it, and like, man, that was really good. That was great. Like, that's a game, if you have Game Pass, there's no excuse. I mean, you should play through this. It's great. So we'll see, like, if they extend the story in the future. I don't think they will, but I had a really great time, so I finished that one out. Then I hooked up my PS4 again.
Oh.
Yeah, PS4 is back. I actually have all 3 consoles in my office now. I have a 3-way HDMI switcher, and so I can play all my systems. And I have a backlog of PS4 games that I literally own, but haven't played. And so I finally I'm getting to it. And so I decided to play Marvel's Spider-Man. Everyone had said really good things about this. I was really excited for Miles Morales on PS5. And it was kind of like the draw to get a PS5 until they announced it was going to be on PS4 as well. But I already owned Spider-Man, so decided to go for it. And yeah, it's great. It's as good as everyone says. It's just one of those games you've played a million times where, it looks really realistic, and then there's like some story thing you got to do, and you go do it, and then they find some other reason you need to go now do this and whatever. Right. The fun part I've had is that my son, who's 13, always loved Spider-Man, and I kind of thought it was a remnant of the past, that he had moved on from Spider-Man. And it turns out, like, he was watching me play, and he's like, oh, and he was like all excited. And he's like, I love Spider-Man. And so I said, well, I mean, do you want to play? And so I let him pick a save slot on my account. And so he's playing his own version of Spider-Man.
Oh.
We're not like sharing a save file or anything.
Yeah.
And we started that, was it last Sunday? And we both started on that Sunday. And then we both finished it on Saturday.
No way. Really? How long is it?
It's not super long, but there's lots of side stuff you can do.
Yeah, so it's one of those.
And we played a lot. Like he was like in the morning, my wife and I will go for this like 4-mile walk, and he was like playing Spider-Man all morning. So we definitely put in hours. I would say it was about 15 to 20 hours for the main story.
Okay.
It was a whole lot of fun. The story ended really well. There's so much to do in this game. There's all these little they have some side quests, not a ton of side quests, but they have these things like, oh, there's 55 backpacks in the city. It takes place in New York, by the way, which is really cool. There's certain locations in the game that are literally in New York, like Washington Square Park, and like, so there's like a lot of buildings and things. So it's not a perfect representation of New York, but they have the New York landmarks.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so it's really good. The swinging feels really natural and fun. You almost feel like you're on a ride at Disney. Like you're just you'll like swing, and you can get these really long swings where you can almost like feel the wind drag on you.
Huh.
If I had a complaint about it, I would say there are way too many side things to do. I like to try to 100% these games. I don't know if I can do it. There's so much. There's like all of these backpacks you have to find, and all these telescopes you have to find, and they show up on the map, but it's like there is so much, it could get a little boring. So I had beaten the game Saturday, and then on Sunday I played for about an hour and a half. I started at 70% completion, I played an hour and a half, and I got to 72% completion. So I was like, oh my God. And it just drags a little bit. So, but in terms of content, all that side stuff and everything, if you want to do it, there's a lot of hours there. And then there's 3 DLCs that had come out for it. And then according to my son, who started the first DLC, there's all these other little quests to do. And then Miles Morales comes out on Friday, which is a big meteor expansion of the game, from what I know. Probably with a whole bunch of other side quests. So it's a game that can go on for a while. I don't know if I'm going to try to do it all, but it's fun. It was a lot of fun. It's a great game. So I've enjoyed that one. I started a new game today. I'm not going to talk about it till our next episode.
Which game is that? You're not going to tell me?
I'm not going to talk about it, but there's going to be a 30-second review on it on Friday.
Ooh.
So keep an eye out for that one.
All right.
And then the only other game that I've been playing is Pikmin 3.
Ah, yes.
I love it. I adore it. I played through it on Wii U. I really don't remember much of it, which is nice. I'm glad I don't have a really great memory for these things. I haven't played it in a couple days just because I've been busy, but I love just sitting down, playing through a day, trying to find some fruit. Let me break down this building right at the last minute. I know you haven't played Pikmin, but
not interested.
It is really great. It's a nice, relaxing game. It's just like an Animal Crossing, except it can get a little more stressful, but it's a lot of times it's just a relaxing game to play. So I'm really enjoying that. Going through it a little slowly, but I'm getting there. So, great game. Yeah.
Great. What else we got, John? Are we ready to move into Monthly Mayhem?
I am dying to know the winners. Let's get to it.
Monthly Mayhem, folks. What a month it has been. Mario 35 has been taking over the nation, right? It's been fun. It was a lot of playing. And, John, we had an astounding turnout of players this month. I believe this was the most we've ever had. We had 17 people submit their scores. That's amazing. And remember, it only takes one lottery ball to win. And as I said last episode, I don't care how you do it, just submit and get you on the list, right? And you have a chance to win. So
that's right.
Many of you listened, and many of you put a lot of effort into it. And Mario 35, we kind of already talked about it a little bit. This was a fun game, and I think we need to just kind of go through. You want me to just read them all right down the list?
Why don't you do the countdown for us? You said we had 17 competitors. Let's just go from 17 all the way up and announce the winner. Let's hear it, Drew.
Simple Monk ended with level 13, which equals, again, now let me rephrase this. You guys got 1 point for every level that you got, and then for every win, you got 2 additional points. That's how the breakdown worked. So Simple Monk, level 13, ends with 13 points. Neo Prime, good old Tim from Nintendo Dads, thank you for submitting. We love to see you guys submit. Made it all the way to level 24, so he'll have 24 points. Third strongest Mole, level 23 with 1 win, so give him 25 points. Michael PJP, level 27, we'll give him 27 points. Now, this is a new person here, I believe, right? Jatalica?
Jatalica? I think he's been around, but I think this is his first entry.
Yeah. I'd love to see new entries here. Level 39 with 2 wins for a total of 43 points. Ubacell. Good to see you here, buddy. Good to see you on the list. Level 44, so 44 points. Zablanc. Good old buddy, co-host John. 11th place.
To be fair,
11th place.
My performance is actually probably a little bit better, but I did not get an updated screenshot. I forgot to enter after reminding everyone to enter. It was just a very busy weekend with the election and everything.
11.
But yeah, 11. I wasn't much better than I was, so
level
disappointing.
3, 7 wins though. That's not bad. Not bad. 77 points. Number 10, Dat Fast, 64, level 64 with 7 wins, 78 points. Tyler TK, very active member lately. For I believe another new person here.
Noob.
Level 61 with 9 wins. Well, that noob kicked your ass. 79 points. Phoenix Down, another new person here kicking co-host John's ass. Level 78 with 3 wins for a total of 84 points. Chris HL, level 76 with 6 wins for a total of 88 points. This next one looks like a duplicate, so I'm going to erase that. It seems like maybe we had really 6.
Oh my gosh, you're right. We have a duplicate in there.
So let's just jump from number 5. So all you people that I said what rank you were in, bump yourself up 1. Except so Blanche stays at 11.
Yeah!
No, you stay. Boy. You stay. Andros, level 89, 18 wins. That's a good score right there for 125 lottery balls. The next one, number 4, Laffer. Jesse made it. He did it all the way to level 100. He worked his ass off. Touche you, Jesse. Proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Is level 100 just, is it like star, like level 1 star?
It's star 1. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Or 1 star.
You know what the best part about Jesse is like he really zoomed off early in the game.
I know.
And then for like 3 weeks, he just bitched about not being able to win anymore.
He peaked. We all know about peaking, right, John? So he'll finish with 128 lottery balls. Number 3, Santi Rod, level 94, but had an astounding 20 wins for 134 lottery balls.
That's pretty good. Wait, can I just go back real quick, Jesse? Yes. 128 points, Jesse. That is such a Jesse score because that's just kind of a perfect binary number. Oh, I don't know if Jesse's hearing this, but just very appropriate. I'm sure Jesse just had a little chuckle when he heard his 128 score.
He probably did it on purpose.
Yes.
He said, I can't play anymore. I'm done. So only 3 people reached level 100, which is the star level, which means absolutely nothing if you're keeping track. Now, number 2, pat myself on the back here. Very proud of myself, John. Level 142 with 48 wins.
That is incredible, Drew. I am rarely impressed by you in any way.
Well, you know.
But I am authentically impressed. You kept playing, you kept winning. I kept thinking you had to be hitting your limit. You kept going. I remember you hitting like level 100 and being exhausted. You kept going. 238 points. Unbelievable. Unfathomable.
I was not even close to this winner. This gentleman here, or female, I don't judge. I'm pretty sure it's a gentleman. Blew me away. Blew me out of the water. It's not even close. And I tried hard. I don't think I had much more in me. But congratulations. $15 eShop credit. Monthly Mayhem winner. First time champion. Oh. With level 171 and a mind-blowing 75 wins. Bald Seagull. Mine. Bald Seagull, 321 balls. If your sack isn't big enough, drop to the floor right now. God bless you. You just won $15. Congratulations. You earned it. Reach out to Marty Estes. He will get you those that $15 eShop credit. I mean, well deserved. I mean, I gotta be honest, that's gotta be probably 40 hours or so of playing this game. I know I was up there.
Oh my gosh, at least 40 hours. You think it's 40 hours? I would almost like 70.
No, you can look at his submission and it will tell you. But I don't have it up. I think it's like 40-ish.
Okay.
So with that being said, all that time I put into it might mean nothing. My sack is large as well. We all have large, a lot of us have large sats besides John. He didn't try. But
37 hours for Bald Seagull.
Yeah, that's about, I was like 34, I think. Get a lot of wins though. Damn, that's a lot of wins. Anywho, Monthly Mayhem, thank you for all those. I know I ran through all those names, but thank you guys for competing. This is fun. We don't, stay tuned for coming up what we're going to do next. But, John, we have to still draw our runner-up winner. So all of these people that I just mentioned, all of your balls are now being thrown into the magical bingo Turner ball sat puller. And the Mr. Sat Puller himself, John, please roll the magic number and announce the winner.
1,207 lottery balls are jammed into this machine. And the winner is ball number, 1198?
What?
That goes to Simple.
Get the fuck out of here.
I don't believe.
No, I think you did it wrong. It goes the other way. So that would make me the winner.
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you did. You reversed the order.
13. I got to take a screenshot of this.
Oh,
with 13 lottery balls.
He loaded the game, played once, and quit. And I put 40 hours into it.
Yeah, he was level 13 though. He didn't get a single fucking win. And he just took a $10 eShop credit right out of all your, including Drew. That is incredible. I'm sending you this screenshot now. That is incredible. 1198 out of 1207.
What a stamp! But congratulations, Simple Monk. This goes to show, folks, Monthly Mayhem is a people's game. We're here for the people. It means you just gotta go on there, take a screenshot, and submit it, and you never fucking know what could happen. And touche to Simple Monk has looking at your little chart, John. Has Simple Monk won before?
No, he has never won. So both of our winners are brand new winners this week.
That's great.
This month. Wow, that's great. Congratulations, guys.
Congratulations. Make sure Simple Monk as well. You reach out to Marty for that $10 eShop card, and look forward coming up soon about the next Monthly Mayhem game.
See that, Drew? That's why I don't break out the numbers anymore, because it just that would have been a big waste of my time.
It would have been very absolutely.
All right, Drew. We've got a topic to discuss.
We do.
Let's get to it. Drew, in time of playing video games, there are moments that we consider very satisfying. And there are moments that are satisfying because of the kill, the surprise, but they make us appreciate our love for video games, Drew.
Oh, video games. We're
Yes.
talking about satisfying video game moments.
Satisfaction with mom and all that. It's out the window.
Me and your mom. Oh, shit. Okay. I didn't have my list quickly.
We decided this week we wanted to talk about the most satisfying gaming moments in our lives. And we each put together a list of 10 moments that we wanted to share. And yeah, these can be moments, any kind of moments. I will tell you that most of my moments are, they will render me to tears. But there's just some other kind of little moments in games. One of them that I had thought of, I'll just to give you a taste. You ever play a shoot 'em up, and you're like way overpowered? You have 15 different weapons firing at once, and you get really close to a target, and you just take it down in like a half a second. Those are the kind of moments that I feel like are the very satisfying moments of games, and they remind us of why we play games. And so let's talk about our most satisfying moments. What do you say?
I say let's do it.
All right. You want me to start off?
Yeah, why don't you start off?
All right. Let me start off here. So this is a special moment that is kind of born from the fact that I didn't play this game for years until it came out. So The Last of Us. This was a PS3 game that came out years ago. They did a remaster. I somehow ended up with the remaster. I bought it at one of our little gaming meetups. And I didn't play the game until 4 or 5 months ago, I think. And this is a game about, what would you say, is sort of like the apocalypse. Think of like Walking Dead. Very Walking Dead-ish type game. The world has been consumed by these zombies. And the thing about it is that I didn't know much about this game. I had just known that it was probably the best game ever made that I hadn't played. And if you look at the cover of the game, you'll see a grown man and a little girl. And so when I played this game a few months ago, I didn't know much about it, and I went in, and the game starts off. By the way, I think we're going to have some spoilers maybe in these satisfying moments, and this might be a little bit.
Yeah,
but it's an older game, so skip ahead if you don't want to hear. But you start off. Your main character is Joel, and you're with your daughter, Joel, and you're
fucking Joel.
You actually start the game off as the daughter. Her name is Sarah. And she gets up and she's looking for her dad in the house. And you're actually exploring the house. It's all very well done. And, she sees some weird things out the window. Something weird's going on. And she's looking for her dad. And eventually she finds her dad. And the dad kind of comes racing in. And, the world's kind of going to shit. And long story short, they get in a car and they skedaddle. And they're trying to get, out of the area. And so, I'm playing this game and I'm like, okay, this is my sidekick, and we're gonna be in this story together for a while. This is gonna be good. And you really start to like the daughter. She's kind of a wise ass, and you really get connected to both the characters.
Or she's too young for that?
No, she's a younger girl.
Oh,
she's got short blonde hair. And you're getting really connected to these characters, and you can see right away why this game is really good. And there comes a point where you're trying to escape this area, but there's these soldiers that are trying to keep you. They're trying to keep you under control. They're trying to secure the situation. You're trying to get out. They don't want you to get out. And this soldier is holding a gun towards you. And at this point, your daughter had been injured in a car accident, I believe. And you're holding your daughter.
What's going on here? And
the soldier has a gun. And there's this moment where he realizes that this soldier just got a command, through his headset, to kill you, because the soldier seems reluctant, and he's like, okay, all right. And he realizes this, and he turns to run, and there's shots fired, and they fall to the floor, and the soldier comes over you, and he's holding the gun to you, and next thing you know, the soldier gets shot, and your friend, I believe it's your brother, shoots the soldier. And he's like, let's go. And you start to go, and then you realize that your daughter had been shot. And she is just wailing. And as a parent, it really connects with you. And he's holding her, and she just dies in his arms.
And I'm not really sure where you're seeing the satisfying moment here.
Well, she dies in his arms, and you're sitting there sort of shocked because I'm realizing, though, this isn't the girl from the cover. And then the game just goes black, and it says 20 years later. And then the game picks up, and you are Joel 20 years after that. And it's this. I've never seen a game or a movie have a twist so early in the game. Mm. And I mean, it just hits you right at that moment. You are into this game now because this is 20 years in the future after your daughter, and you just want to see how this whole story connects. And I remember thinking well, who's this girl on the cover? And then you eventually meet this other girl, and a lot of the storyline of the game is how this girl reminds you of the daughter. So it is one of those very satisfying moments where you really connect with the storyline of a game. And it is ironic that it happens so early. So that is definitely one of the most satisfying in its tragedy. But satisfying in that you're just wow, what a way for a game to connect with you. So that's my first little moment there.
That's a good one. That's very in depth. I don't have any that in depth, I'm not gonna lie, but I enjoyed it. I'm gonna go with something a little more recent, maybe a little bit of remake, and I'm talking about a little bit of Mario 64 action. I'm gonna talk about a bunch of things that made me satisfied within that game. That we all know and love, right? So I think about, I feel like I satisfied myself and I was a good deed human being.
Sorry.
When you like that wording? When I returned the baby penguin to his mother, I felt like a little pat in the back there. I did a good deed. Also, when you finally catch the damn bunny in the sewers after trying to chase him, always satisfying there.
It's pretty hard to do.
It is hard. And then anytime you collect 100 coins in a level, I feel like, wow, I did it. But the most satisfying moment in Mario 64 is by far when you physically get to pick up Bowser by the tail and throw him.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, you've played several Mario games. And correct me if I'm wrong, I'm trying to think. At this point, anytime you interacted with Bowser, you could never really touch him. You couldn't really jump on him. You couldn't touch him. It was always, I'm thinking Mario 1, you have to jump over him and hit the ats. Mario 2, he's not in. Mario 3, you have to dodge it, and he's jumping on the bricks, right? What about Super Mario World? I forget, what's the final boss fight there? Same thing, you jumping over him, or?
I can't remember it. Oh,
Me either, for some weird reason.
Yeah.
But my point is, you can never really interact with Bowser. And this is the first time you get to grab him, and you can throw him, and it's just a satisfying moment for me. But yeah, that's my number one there for you.
Definitely has an impact. Definitely has an impact when you do
it.
My second one is it's one I've probably done maybe once or twice in my life. But this comes in Splatoon, Splatoon 1 or Splatoon 2. If you're ever lucky enough, you need a little bit of luck. You definitely need some skill. I'm not tremendously skilled, but luckily I make up for it in luck.
Good.
The moment when you can kill the entire other team, just splat the entire team. And when you splat somebody, it'll show you on the bottom. Mm-hmm. And if you splat a second person while that's still there, it'll show it right above it.
Okay.
And those very rare times when you can go boom, 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 and the entire other team was splatted by you, it not only makes you feel like a total badass, but all you can think of is now your team has this like free time to spray paint the whole freaking world. And you feel like there's no way you can do it on Switch without hitting the screenshot button. That's for sure.
That's awesome.
That's just one of those little moments that is just so satisfying and just doesn't happen enough. But
I can't remember if I played a lot of Splatoon 1. I'll be honest, I ended up not getting number 2, but I played a lot of the first game. That was a fun game.
Yeah.
Missed out on the second one, unfortunately. I'm going to a game where I don't play it a lot, but I've always played every one and I beat them. Smash Brothers, John. And what is more satisfying than hitting the Smash Ball and getting your Smash Special and then actually, hitting your final Smash and connecting on your opponent? Because there's nothing worse than getting the Smash Ball and then missing. That's like the complete opposite. But when you get it and you hit your final Smash, just a satisfying moment.
I agree. If you're in a room, like if you have family over and you're in a room and you have one of those final smashes that's like a whole big production.
Oh, yeah, like Bowser
and everybody's just like
Bowser and
yeah, and everyone's like, oh my god, oh, and it's like, oh wow. Yeah, that is a good moment. My number 3 comes from Bayonetta 2, one of my very favorite games of all time. The prologue to Bayonetta 2. The Bayonetta games are very famous for just getting right into the action. Literally, when you start up Bayonetta 2, you go right into action sequences they're reading you the story of the first game, essentially, while you're fighting enemies. It's really fun. It lets you just kind of button mash and get a feel for the game a little bit. It can be a little distracting when you're trying to listen to the story and you're trying to concentrate on killing enemies. But there's no characters. You can't die. It's not a big deal. So Bayonetta 2 starts off with that, then goes right into the storyline, then goes right into the prologue, which is what they call it. The game has 16 chapters, but the prologue is kind of the satisfying moment for me because of how good it is. You just get right into the action after the story sequence. You start off fighting dudes on top of a jet plane that's flying at, Mach speed. The Mach speed jets come in right after the opening sequence. You fight on the planes. You end up fighting on a train. Then there's this massive dragon that's coming at you from a building. And then that dragon ends up killing your friend Jean. Jean? Girl Jean, like French Jean. And basically kills her, knocking her kind of soul out of her body. And then that kind of leads into the whole rest of the game, which is basically you're trying to rescue Jean from hell. But that whole prologue sequence, I've played through Bayonetta 2 a few times. And whenever I think about, like, this is like one of my favorite games of all time, and then I forget about it a little bit, I go, is it really? And then I'll play Bayonetta 2, and when you go through the prologue, you're like, oh my god, fucking hell yeah. Like, it immediately reminds you of why this is just one of the great gaming experiences. It's just such a great, just what you're fighting boss after boss after boss in these crazy scenes. So it just, again, it's making me excited for Bayonetta 3. But yeah, I can play that prologue over and over again. It's just so much fun.
I need to play those games eventually. I don't someday, John, someday. Maybe 3 if and when that ever comes out, it'll suck me in. My next satisfying moment is winning, essentially. I'm talking about all those types of multiplayer games where you get number 1. Let's use Mario 35 for the latest example. There's nothing more satisfying when you're just running along your level and the game freezes and stops and you're like, number 1, you win. I don't play Fortnite, but your victory, whatever the hell they call it. But I did used to play a lot of Clash Royale, John, and that one, getting that number 1 was so satisfying. I used to play a lot of Paladins, where you get the player of the match, all of those types of things. I'm just talking about such a satisfying moment knowing that like you were the best person in the last 20-minute game that you just played. You did it. You know, fuck everybody else. You're the winner, John.
That is a great moment. You nailed that one because, and I think what makes it different than Fortnite is when you win in Fortnite, you pretty much had to kill the last person.
Yeah.
So you know it when you do it. But in Mario, you are zoned in. You're not even looking on the side of the screen. Sometimes you don't even know you're down to the last 2.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden the game ends and you have that one moment where you're like, what's going on? Mm-hmm. And then you're like, I won.
Exactly.
That's what makes it great.
And even Paladins, I remember back, they had like the kill streaks and like you see it start building up. So every time you kill someone without dying and you're like, kill streak 13, you're like, whoa, like, that's high. That's cool. You know, I've killed 13 people without dying. But of course, the number 1 best winning of anything, John, would be, of course, the feeling of winning Monthly Mayhem. I mean, what is better than that, folks? To wear that gold crown is no easy feat to accomplish.
It didn't happen this month for either of us.
It did not.
Sad. I'm going to go back to the moments that make you cry. I think those are the moments that I remember the most in gaming.
Crying in baseball.
There it is. And when Ori and the Blind Forest came to the Switch, I was super excited because it was a game I wanted to play and I didn't have an Xbox back then. And I just always wanted to play it and it came out. And I really didn't know much about the game. I just had avoided information about it. But the story of Ori and the Blind Forest revolves around, obviously, Ori. But your main nemesis in the game is an owl. His name is Kuro. And Kuro is just this, as I remember it, Kuro is an owl that is just hell-bent on destroying you. It's just sort of this storyless owl. And it isn't until you get later in the game that you start to see some story sequences about how Kuro came to be. Why is he so angry? Why is he always trying to kill you? And throughout the game, he's trying to kill you with some really detailed sequences. So you get really into it, and Kuro becomes this, in your head, this villain that you just hate. And as you get very late into the game, there is a story sequence where you see that Kuro had babies. And when the forest, I don't know how you describe it, went to hell, there was like a cataclysmic event in the forest, and Kuro's babies died. And all that he had left of his nest was this one egg. And that's when Kuro sort of went insane because his children died. And as you get very late into the game, there's a sequence where the forest is now fully on fire. Ori is in trouble. And there's this moment where the owl comes to like get you. And your friend is holding you and you need help. And the owl looks like is like just about ready to get you. And the owl just sort of flashes back to his babies dying. And that's when he realizes he has one more egg. And the forest is going to destroy everything. And Kuro has this moment where it says, I am going to change to save my last egg. and Kuro basically saves the day. And it is like I remember playing that game, the early parts of that game, I was like, this game's okay, but it's not like what everyone said it was. And then I started to get into it. And at that moment in the game is when you realize how amazing this whole gaming experience has been for you. And the story just really brings it together. And it's why I regard Ori and the Blind Forest as it's just an absolute masterpiece. And hopefully nobody got spoiled by this. You should have known to fast forward. But it's an incredible ending to the game and really leads well into the second game. The second game just follows up almost immediately after the first game. But it's just one of those things you'll never forget when you see it. And I remember playing the game. I was in the room with my kids and my wife, and I'm like ugly crying on the rocking chair where I play my Switch. I'm just like, oh God. Like, it was just like, there's just no way you can keep it together. And maybe I cry a little bit more at video games than other people, but I mean, I lost it. I just completely lost it. I just sobbing. So
good for you.
Good for me. I'm an emotional guy. So there you go. Another sad, satisfying moment.
Nice.
Give me another one, Drew.
Yeah, number 4 on my list. I play a lot of golf games. So maybe not any specific type of golf game, but if anyone's ever played one, you know what I'm talking about. The moment when you get the perfect shot or the nice shot, it could be anywhere from the old school NES Golf Open game to PGA Tour nowadays, or even my favorite Mario Golf. And what I'm talking about is when you hit the A button and then you hit the A button again at the very end, you lines it up, and then it has to come back and you hit A again to get right in the middle. Those old school games, you line up for the perfect shot. It's just that satisfying moment that you hit it exactly the way you wanted to. Now, speaking of Mario Golf, I will say another satisfying moment. There was a challenge in that game to unlock Baby Bowser Jr. You had to do this. There was this par 3 course, and it was in the trees. It was really weird. Like, you tee off from branches and the greens in the tree. It was kind of cool. And there's 18 holes, and you have to birdie every single hole. And you unlock Bowser Jr. 18 straight birdies. And when you do that, there's nothing more satisfying than like, I fucking did it. Yes. It's not an easy one. It's but yeah, just that perfect shot of lining up in any golf game. Any golf fans out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And yeah, that's mine.
That's a good one. You're really good at golf video games.
I love golf video games.
It's kind of amazing that you play golf in real life, and just the video games. It's just weird that you're really good at them, but you're really good at them. My next one is also Super Mario Brothers 35. I wish I thought about when you win the game, but I had another moment in that game that's always so satisfying. As you get later in the game, obviously you've killed enemies, you've sent them to your enemy. To one of the other players, then they kill those enemies and they get ping pong back to you. And so when you get towards the end of the game, there's always like the screen just starts filling up, right?
Yes.
Like Lakidus or Koopas. It starts to really fill up. That's how you know you're really late in the game. And there's really not many things more satisfying than getting a star in those situations and just rampaging through screens full of enemies, especially when you can jump in the air and get the Lakidus and the spiny shells, and you know that every one of these little enemies you're just mauling is going over to your opponents. That's just one of my favorite moments in the game.
I always love to see how far you feel comfortable pushing the star, because when the music starts dying down, and you're like, do I keep going? Do I start shooting the fireballs, or do I have it? And it's like, what's that perfect moment? Do I keep going or do I stop?
Right. Yep.
Well, John, my next one is by no surprise, and I think we're all shocked that I haven't mentioned it yet, but my number 5 most satisfying moment is, of course, from Witcher 3. And it is the part where I get to fuck the living daylights out of my friend Triss Marigold in the lighthouse. In fact, it was so satisfying. No, John, I didn't go do what you think I said. It was so satisfying, I stopped playing the game. I said, I did it. I beat this game in my eyes. There's nothing else I need to see. What happens? I accomplished what I was out to do. And it's probably, 60 hours into the game before this happens? 50 hours?
Halfway through, yes.
Yes, halfway through. And I said, I'm done. I've completed it. I met my mission. I saw all my imagination that I had built up was now gone because it was laid out in front of me. And it was everything I wanted it to be and more.
And you still have the save file.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. Absolutely. I saved it right before there. And I didn't have, I boot it up every once in a while when no one's home.
If you want to laugh, do a search for it. You ever watch Conan O'Brien? He does the Clueless Gamer episodes.
Oh, yeah.
He did
I don't watch
The
it, but
Witcher.
I've seen those. Yeah.
Yeah. Find the one with The Witcher.
Okay.
Because he plays through and he gets all super pervy with some of these games. And he's getting all super pervy. And they eventually fast forward because he's all like hot on Yennefer. Because, in the beginning when she's getting dressed and she's naked. And he's like constantly trying to how do I have sex with her,
Yep.
And they eventually go to a save file where they have the Witcher Yennefer sex scene. Yep. Oh my God. He sends the guy out of the room and it's just it is the most hilarious thing. And you do have to see the sex scene with Yennefer. It is hilarious. So watch that one. It's very satisfying. I am going to get sappy again. So Valiant Hearts, The Great War. I've talked about this game multiple times and it's frustrating because nobody plays it. I don't know anybody else who's played Valiant Hearts, The Great War. But this is the game that is on the same cartridge as Child of Light. It's Ubisoft made these two games and they packaged them together on the Switch. And I still say it's one of the best values on the Switch. And I played this game not because I knew a lot about it or wanted to, but it was just because, hey, I really love Child of Light. And this game was made with the same engine and it has a similar art style. So I'm just going to play it. And I was not prepared for what happens at the end of this game. If you are not going to play this game, the basic storyline is this game takes place in World War I. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of the story of a family that gets separated. They're living in France. There is Emile, and then there's Carl. So Carl and his wife Marie, they're married, and Emile is the father-in-law to Carl. So it's Maria's father. And they have a kid, and what happens is war is breaking out in Europe. And Carl is a German living in France. And France, basically deported all the Germans, in that war. And what happens is they get split up, but they both get recruited to an army. So Carl is on the German army, and Emile is in the French army. And it's like a historical record of the war. Literally, there's parts of the game where they just show you, World War facts, and you're just reading about the grenades and this and that. And it's almost like you're trying to teach me something. What is this? Educational?
Yeah.
It's really hard to tell you what kind of genre the game is. It has a good variety of gameplay, but for the most part, it's like a puzzle game. You have to you have these missions you have to do. And, you have to set up bombs and break down walls and figure out how to get this out of there. And you have to go find this item and it's in somebody's house and stuff like that. It's really entertaining. There's a dog in the game that you bond to. But a lot of the core storyline of the game is that at some point you and Carl find each other on the battlefield, but you're enemies because you're at war with different countries.
Yep.
And, you find ways not to kill your son-in-law. And you talk about what's going on and how the family is and all that. And there's a lot of storylines. There's parts where Emile is wearing the outfit of the British army. And, there's so much good gameplay. But what happens towards the end of this game is that you're fighting for the French army and your general is fucking insane. And he's like, go in there, kill, kill, kill. And he's sending people into this major battle and people are dying. There's mines everywhere and there's just there's no hope, but the general just keeps sending you in because he's kind of gone mad. And Emile takes a shovel and just smashes the guy over the head. And then what they do is they get out of there, they do their retreat, and then later on they fight and then they win the war. And there's this really positive ending to the game. The war is over. War is bad. that sort of thing. And you're thinking like, this is great. And then right at the end, you hear Emil, and he's reading a letter, and he's reading. I think it's written to his daughter, and talking about everything that happened. And he's like walking out, and he's just kind of narrating this letter, and you're just sitting there with this like false like, what a great game. That was a great game. I was really lovely. Emil's the hero and all that. And the next thing you know, he's talking about how he hit the general with the shovel, and I believe he killed the general, and he's walking up to this stake, and they put a blindfold on him, and they shoot him. He's executed at the end. And you are not ready for this moment, and he is executed, and it is just, forget it.
Like, I mean, it sounds like the opposite of satisfying to me.
It is, because it's such a deep moment in the game, and it kind of hits you. You don't expect it. It's just like The Last of Us. You don't expect it, and it like sticks with you. So it's why I talk about this game, but nobody plays it, so I don't have a problem
what was the name
spoiling
of it.
It's called Valiant Hearts: The Great War. But it just does a great job of connecting you with this character and all that. It's a game that worth playing again, because you really do want to learn, because it's based on not real people or anything, but it's based on, real war. So it's totally worth it. It's a great puzzle game. Get a little dog. The dog is awesome. And no matter how much I could describe what happens to you, it will still hit you every time. So it's still worth playing.
Very cool.
Yeah, really cool. So that's another sad moment. I promise I only have 2 more left. Yeah. What do you got, Drew?
Well, my next one, most satisfying moment, when I beat Hades before you. I mean, I think it's just simple as...
How did that happen?
No, anyways, we talked a little bit of Hyrule Warriors, and I think for me, just hack and slash in general. There's nothing more satisfying than a hack and slash type game. I think back to my roots of what really made me love hack and slash games. I mean, you didn't even go back as far as like the NES days when you had arcade type style games like Ninja Turtles and things like that. But what really put me over the edge was games like Gauntlet Legends and things along that line, where hack and slash, for whatever reason, when you feel a little bit overpowered and you're just a horde of enemies, it's just so satisfying for me. And you have a big, powerful special or magic. It's just hack and slash gameplay. That's satisfying to me, John.
You do that super, and there's just like 80 guys light up. And like,
That's right. That's it.
Those are good moments.
I actually have 1, 2, 3, 4 left.
Okay.
You want me to do another one?
Go on. Give me another one.
So the next one, you're going to be very familiar with this one. This should go for any type of game, really like an MMO or any type of game, but I'm going to go more specifically for Diablo. When you kill an enemy or a boss and you see like that gold, legendary, rare item drop, and you just see it glowing on the ground, and whatever game you're playing, whatever color, Diablo, I think the legendary items are gold, right? Or orangish rather, not gold. And when you see that glowing, you're just like, yeah. And then, then you get the dissatisfying moment when you find out it's for another player, or if you picked it up and it's for like, you don't even use sword. I don't even use sword. I need the hammer. But it's just that satisfying moment when you see that rare legendary item drop that you always wanted.
Wow. Yeah. No, I agree. Like the big enemies and the big explosion of. It's very sexual. It's kind of like the climactic ending to
it is
to some anal. I guess.
Yeah.
No,
I hear.
That's a good one, and we played that a lot.
We did.
Mine is an easy one. A lot of the newer Super Mario games always have at the ending. Do you know what they have, Drew, at the ending of these Super Mario games? What's at the end of a lot of these newer games?
Of what? Mario?
Yeah, like Super Mario games. Let me tell you what's at the end.
I don't know where you're going with this.
Really hard levels.
That's true.
the latest batch of Mario games, I think going back to, it probably was like Super Mario, even like Super Mario 3, Super Mario World is probably where it started. But I think mostly like the 3D games.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's the ending of Super Mario 3D World. It's called Champions Road. And it is just one of the brutally hardest levels in Mario history. You have to get through it almost perfectly. And I remember like the end of Super Mario Galaxy being really hard, and Galaxy 2 being really hard, and Mario Odyssey being really hard.
Mm-hmm.
But for whatever reason, Champions Road sticks out to me because of how deceptively easy it seems, that it shouldn't be that hard. But I played that level like 100 times for hours.
It's a good one.
And when I finally beat that game, my gosh. And then they go through, like a lot of them, you'll see the same thing. When you get through the end of the level, it's not quite over, and you go through these pipes, and the pipes spell out "thank you,"
Yes.
and it's like you're just like, yes,
fuck you, I did it.
And if I end up, and I do end up playing Mario 3D World again on the Switch, which I think I might, I look forward to conquering Champions Road again. So
yeah, I probably will. The kids like watching those types of games, so it's one of those that's nice because on a Saturday or Sunday you'll just play all day and the kids will watch, and they make it fun. I agree.
Yep.
My next one is another throwback to The Legend of Zelda on the NES, and I think this is the same thing as opposed to like Mario 64. There's so many satisfying moments within this game. When you find a piece of heart container, when you burn down a bush or put a bomb to find a hidden cave, it's a very satisfying moment. But one of my favorite satisfying moments of that game is when you go to the gamble game, and you have the -10, -10, -10, and you just select that one that says +50, and it's like, yeah, baby, 50 rupees. Yeah, for whatever reason, that is a satisfying moment for me.
also the beginning of gambling addiction.
Oh, yeah. Well, mine was fine. Scratch Tetris at age 5. Who are you kidding?
Nice.
What do you got left?
Your moments are really nice. I have another sad moment. I'm not going to get into the details of this because this game, I think, is still fairly new, so I don't want to ruin it.
If this is not what I think it is, then I'm using it as my final one.
Okay. It is Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
What? That's not it?
Ori and the Will of the Wisps, I've said this before. This game came out earlier this year. It is one of my games of the year. It's right up there with Hades, I would say. They'll probably be my top 2 games of the year. I still haven't shaken out which one I would give it to. But I 100%ed Ori 2 because it was just so good I didn't want to stop playing. Similar storyline to the first Ori, where there's this murderous owl. But this one features Shriek, who is a deformed owl. That's kind of a byproduct of when the great calamity of the first game happened. And I don't want to get into the details of it, but just to say that the moments that explain Shriek's origins and the moments before the final fight and then the moment following the final fight with Shriek, which is the end of the game, I'll never forget it in my life. It is so well done and so heartbreaking and so satisfying. All of those moments together are what make that game just absolutely beautiful. So I don't want to get into details on that one, but
yep.
Ori, after you finish playing the amazing Ori 1, play the amazing Ori 2. And
I need to play those games. But
so
you spoiled them for me, so I don't need to now.
I don't think Ori, I can't, no matter how much I tell the story, it's something that just has to be sort of experienced. They're great games, and they're both on Switch now. So
I'll have to look into it someday.
I haven't played Ori 2 on the Switch. I played that on Xbox. It's got a great frame rate and everything. So I would definitely encourage playing both.
Nice. My next one here is another throwback to the NES days of playing Jaws.
Oh, I love Jaws.
Nothing more satisfying than ramming your boat into Jaws and defeating him and watching him sink to the bottom of the ocean. I mean, you grow up watching these movies and it's just like now you're playing the video game and you get to partake in defeating him. It's priceless.
I very rarely, I don't even know if I ever did beat Jaws.
I
loved playing that game.
You just went around the ocean and did nothing and looked for him.
It's so repetitive and whatever, but it's like you just can't stop doing it.
You can't. It's addictive. Yeah. You see the fin coming. Oh yeah, it's great. You have any more, John?
Yeah, I got two more.
I only got one more.
Okay, so Rime is a very forgettable game. It's a game that had massive technical issues on the Switch, and but when I first got my Xbox and with my Game Pass, I noticed Rime was on Xbox, and I said, you know what? I'm going to play Rime because I don't want to play it on Switch. It has all these technical glitches, and my wife played through Rime, and she said it was like very sad. And I
have sad, satisfying moments. That was not the intention of this.
So my wife played Rime because she really liked it from the trailers, and she played through it, and it had some technical issues. She played it and whatever. And this was, I think, last summer. So I was giving my kids tasks to do to keep them busy during the day. And for whatever reason, I told my son, Sebastian, I said, your goal for this week is play through Rime. And it seems weird to tell your kid, like, here's something to keep you busy or whatever, and here, play this video game. But from what I knew of Rime that my wife had said, it was like there was a puzzle. It was a, you solve little puzzles. It was like a Zelda game or something where you're just solving little puzzles and then moving on to the next area and solving some puzzles and moving on to the next area. So I thought it was a good educational game for him to play. So I had him play it. And he started playing it, and I went to work or whatever. And then he had played several hours of it when I got back. And then he finished it up the next day. And when he finished it, I come downstairs, he had finished it. And there was just something wrong with my son. He was like, I said, did you finish it? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, how was it? And he just like shook his head no. Like, I was like, you didn't like it? And he's like, I liked it. And I was like, what's going on? Like, I didn't know. And then my wife explained to me that the ending is very sad. And I was like, oh. I was like, wow. So it was like the first time my son was emotional.
Huh.
So fast forward to like 4 months ago or so, I played Rime. And I was playing to the end. Yes, I was playing Rime for the first time. And I will say the game has technical issues even on an Xbox One X. The programming needs some work. But overall, it wasn't glitchy or anything. But yeah, it had some issues. And as I'm getting close to the end of the game, my wife keeps poking her head in to see like where I was. She's like, are you getting close to the end? And I was like, I don't know. And she's like, I think you're getting close to the end. And then she started watching me towards the ending or whatever. And I was like, something's up here. And you're playing this game and you play as a kid. And I'm not going to give away the ending of the game. Mm-hmm. But you play as this little kid and you're playing as a kid and you're not sure what's going on. There's some weird story going on. You're in areas you're not sure why you're there. And so you're kind of like you're learning about a story as you go. And as you get further into the game, things are being revealed to you and you get very interested in like, what's going on? This is so weird. What's going on? And as I'm getting to the end, my wife is now in the room just watching me or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so now I get to, the end, and the storyline, the way the storyline wraps up and like who you are in this world and what is going on in this world. And there's one little aspect of the ending that, oh man, like now I knew why my wife said it was sad. And now I know why my son was broken by the end of this game. And if you know the end of this game, there is a particular toy that is at the end of this game. And just to say that my son, that's his favorite toy. And I could not believe that I had him play this game last summer, not even knowing this. And I could not have picked the worst child to play this game because I think I emotionally broke my son.
Oh,
so I kind of felt bad. I kind of felt a little bad, but at the same time, I think it's good for kids to play emotional games and watch emotional movies. I don't think there's anything wrong with a young child seeing something serious. No, that's because the world's going to have it.
Experience. Yeah.
It's not something that's going to like traumatize you for your life, but I just can't believe that the ending to this game so perfectly tied to my son. So It's an ending you don't remember. And the thing I'll remember most about Rime is how forgettable the game is. I didn't really love the game. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't the worst game I've played. But it was a lot of like solve puzzles, do this, solve this, and it's like, oh, here we go, do this again. But the ending was just amazing. So it's definitely a game worth playing through. It's not a long game. Definitely worth playing just to experience the ending on that one. That's the last sad one, by the way, Drew. That's it. That's the last.
Well, I got one left.
Okay.
But I don't want to steal it from you if your last one.
It is no way it is at my last one.
Okay. Well, I'm surprised it's not on your list then, because this is one of your top 5 games of all time, John.
Oh no.
Is it on your list?
I don't know. You have to tell me what it is.
Well, John, of course I'm talking about Celeste. What is more satisfying than finally getting to the top of the mountain?
That's a good one.
It's just, and again, I'm not going to spoil, because if you've not played this game, you need to experience it right for yourself.
Oh my God, yes.
But I think just the story of this, and I hate to say finish it, but I think this is a lot of what you were talking about with some of the other games, and just finally this whole journey of your mission of getting to the top and the completion of the story is so satisfying. In many different emotions, right? Happy, sad, indifferent, whatever it might be. But I'll leave it at that one. That's going to be my last one there.
That's a fitting one. I thought about Celeste. There's so many moments in that game, though. I couldn't pick one. Yeah. Like, yeah, I totally agree. And the final mountain sequences are so hard.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one. My last moment is a very personal one. And I told you earlier, my brother and I play. My brother is like 14 years older than me. And we played a lot of video games when we were younger. And we played a lot of sports games. When I was a kid, I didn't buy RPGs. I didn't buy a lot of the games that I play today. We played a lot of sports games. So we played football. We played hockey games. We played basketball games. And this game is the last time my brother played a video game with me. And I'll never forget it. So I lived in the attic of our house. It was a finished attic. So I had a carpet and walls and everything. And we would play games up there. But it was weird to get up to my room. We had this ladder that was just nailed to the wall, and you just climbed up or whatever. Anyway. So we were playing NHL 93. And this is a game we played a lot. We would play like 4 or 5 times a week. Yeah. And he would always choose the New York Rangers, because he was I lived in New York when I was a kid.
Yep.
So he was a New York Rangers fan. I would play the Red Wings, just because they were good in the game. And these are the years of like Iserman and Fedorov.
Richter,
on the Red Wings.
Leach. I'm talking about that. I'm on the.
Oh, you're talking about the Rangers
side.
now, yeah.
Oh yeah, Titterton.
Oh yeah,
man.
he loved those guys.
Messier.
I would play the I would play the Devils, and I had Iserman, Fedorov, Paul Coffey was on the Red Wings late in his career.
Yep.
And so we would play, and I think we were pretty evenly matched. Whenever we played this game. For whatever reason, we were playing NHL 93, and we started the game, and I was just on fire. And by that, RN Jesus, you know what I mean? Like, I would shoot, the sound it would make. And in NHL 93, I don't know if it was the sound requirements, but when you scored a goal, all the other sound effects in the game just stopped, and you just heard, and it was this annoying noise, especially if you got scored on.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, so we were playing a game, and it was like, boom, first shot, 1-0. And then it was like, boom, second shot, 2-0, and I think the goalie is just perfectly automated. So it's like, there's nothing he can do. It was just like, he couldn't stop it. Yeah. I was up like, I think it was about 8-0. Oh, and it was like still the first period. It was just this ungodly game. I was probably getting some wraparounds and whatever.
Yeah. That's right.
And I was coming, it was like 8-0 or so. And I just took a shot from the blue line. And it was like, and it was like, it's 9-0. My brother said, fuck this. And he throws the controller on the ground. He goes out the attic door, down the stairs, never played a video game with him again. He was done.
That's it?
Done playing video games forever. We never played a game again. I think I went to college the next year. And I'll never forget like what just broke him. And it was NHL 93, probably Iserman.
Probably, absolutely.
Yeah, it was just one of those really lucky games where everything went in. That was as satisfying. Beating your older brother when he was probably about 31 years old, and you're a teenager, and just ending his video gaming career because he could not stop a shot in hockey. Awesome. That will be my most satisfying moment in my life.
Can't be, I'm sure hopefully you bring that up to him every time you see him.
I do. I have brought it up. And I'm actually waiting for one of my kids to do it to me someday. Like, because they're better than me in certain games, especially Smash Brothers. Yeah. So I'm waiting for it to happen.
Before you know it, it will be here. Well, that was fun. That was a great list. Is that all of them for you?
That's all of it. I've cried enough.
Yeah, well, let's hear from you guys. If you guys have so many big satisfying moments, shout out to us, and you can do that by heading over to our Twitter page, right, John? And give us a follow at the N, letter N, Dads After Dark Show. You can do that. And we want to thank all the Nintendo dads for being part of the big family of podcasts, as they call it. Subscribe to Dads After Dark Show podcast on all of your favorite podcast apps. And if you want, join the Nintendo Dads Patreon, because that's how you get into these amazing monthly Mayhem contests, as well as get into our private Discord channel where we have fun chatting and we post naked pictures of Triss, and it's just a fun time. That's what we do there. But John, what do we have happening over the next couple of weeks?
There is so much coming out over the next 2 weeks. It's so refreshing after we've had several episodes where nothing's coming out.
True.
Tomorrow, Fuser comes out. We don't know much about this game, but it's the same people that made a lot of these rhythm games in the past. So Fuser's coming out tomorrow. A game close to my heart, Just Dance 2021, comes out November 12th. Definitely going to pick that one up. I haven't played Just Dance in a while. So I'm going to pick that one up. I don't know if Blackpink is on that one, but they were on the 2020. So we'll see what happens with 2021. November 13th, Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory comes out. We also have Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered. Another one a little cruel. This is Friday. The Super Mario Brothers Game & Watch comes out on Friday. This thing, we've been waiting. We have a whole chat devoted to pre-orders for this thing. There has not been a pre-order yet, and everybody wants it. I have Space Drew on my nightstand waiting for this game.
Here's the problem, John. I want this, but I can't fucking play any more Mario. I just can't. I can't do it. True. I'm gonna if I tried to play this, I'm gonna find myself running through the levels, trying to go so fast, and I'm just gonna be like, I can't do this anymore.
You'll get the 1-up mushroom, and you'll actually get a 1-up, and you're like, whoa,
where's my coins?
Next Friday, Age of Calamity. That's going to come out right before our next episode, so that should be interesting.
I may or may not have taken that day out of work.
Ooh. That'll be a good day. And tomorrow, the Xbox Series X comes out. It's Christmas Eve tonight for the Xbox
happy for those that are excited, but I simply am not. Simple facts.
You're just a Grinch. You're a Christmas Grinch.
No, John. I'm a dedicated lover. Grinchy. I'm a dedicated lover to Nintendo. I'm not a cheater like all you other people out there.
I'm really curious about the Series X. Hasn't had a lot of the whatever. There's going to be I've never heard of this before. A day one showcase that Xbox is putting on, and I can guarantee you when they do that showcase tomorrow, they are going to have some surprises, things that we did not know. And so that is going to generate some excitement. It also might generate some people who want to get one who cannot. So we'll see.
Probably should have did it today. The day before would have made more sense. But
I don't know. It'd be kind of fun tomorrow and see. So we'll see. And then Thursday, the PlayStation 5 comes out. That one's had a lot more hype in terms of the games. Miles Morales and Demon's Souls remake and the Astrobot demo. I heard really good things about the controller too. There's some really good haptic feedback in that controller. So I'm pretty excited about it. I'm going to make an attempt to try to get a PlayStation 5. They'll be available to purchase online on Thursday. If I don't get it, I don't get it. But it plays the PlayStation 4 games natively. I think we're seeing really good backwards compatibility with both consoles. Yeah, very exciting. Like 2 huge consoles come out within 2 days of each other. So it's a big week in gaming. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of fun to be had.
Absolutely will be. This is a fun show. Good topic. Remember, folks, make sure you submit your topics to us if you want a chance for a free $5. I mean, it seems pretty simple to me. It was a good show. Thanks for joining us tonight, John. And any final words?
I'm going to cry. I always cry at the endings, Drew.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, John.
Good night,
All right. Good night from me. See you guys.